new settlers from the East Coast wanted Victorian-style houses instead of adobe. More and more lumber was needed to satisfy Santa Barbara's first building boom.
And there was no lumber around here. And generally, ships that would unload lumber would just take it offshore, dump it over, and it would float ashore. So you'd be picking up your lumber anywhere from West Beach all the way down to East Beach there. Very inefficient way to get your lumber.
This demand for more lumber brought about one of Santa Barbara's most important developments.
John Peck Stearns was born in Vermont in 1828, and like so many people, came to California for the gold rush. Except actually, he didn't partake in the gold rush. He taught school, then he studied law, passed the bar exam, and became district attorney up in Santa Cruz County. Inexplicably, with all this knowledge about law and education, he came to Santa Barbara and opened a lumber yard.
And actually it was the first lumber mill in Santa Barbara County, because there was a bit of a building boom going on in the area at the time. But he was very upset that there was no proper pier or wharf to offload his lumber. The following year, in 1868, the Chapala Street Pier opened up, financed by a group of local investors headed up by Dr. Samuel Brinkerhoff. Brinkerhoff Avenue is named after him. But the Chapala Street Pier was only 500 feet long, and so really large boats couldn't tie up to the pier, so you still had the same problem.
So that's why Stearns decided, first he offered them to extend the Chapala Street Wharf, and the owner said no. So Stearns then approached Colonel Hollister, our leading citizen, and got a loan from him.
He borrowed $41,000 to build his wharf. And by the middle of 1873, Stearns Wharf, 2,100 feet long, which made it the longest pier between San Francisco and Los Angeles, was open for business. It just transformed the town. It immediately became one of the commercial hubs of the city.
This really opened the door to bring people to Santa Barbara. And once we see that Stearns Wharf is in, ships tie up, passengers come off, and we start seeing a great increase in the hotels in Santa Barbara, and of course, houses now being built out of wood instead of out of adobe.
By 1873, with the completion of Stearns Wharf using money borrowed from leading citizen William Wells Hollister, Santa Barbara could finally open its doors to the rest of the world. But keeping Stearns Wharf open and in business was not without its challenges.
The agreement was Stearns would pay back Hollister $500 a month for 7 years. If he missed a payment, the wharf would go to Hollister.
Some of the city and government fathers became a little greedy, and after a couple years they decided to charge Stearns a license fee to operate the wharf. Well, Stearns was pretty upset about this, and chance sort of took a role in this when in early 1878 a huge storm came through, virtually destroyed the Chapala Street Wharf, parts of which then slammed into Stearns Wharf, severely damaging and closing down the wharf. Stearns refused to repair the wharf unless the city fathers got rid of the license fee. And so they had a few months of back and forth, until finally a coalition of local businessmen went before the government and said, look, Stearns Wharf is just too important to the business of Santa Barbara and the South Coast. Get rid of this license fee, which they did, and Stearns then went ahead, repaired the wharf. And very soon, again, Stearns Wharf was the commercial center of Santa Barbara.
Despite storms, city government interference, damage to the pier, and a huge debt hanging over his head, Stearns never missed a monthly payment. He capped his business success by being elected mayor of Santa Barbara in 1888 and maintained ownership of the wharf until shortly before he passed away in 1902.